when I was invited to speak about a sports revolution, the first instinct was to talk about policy, league, infrastructure, and systems. But then I asked myself a simpler question: where did sports begin for me? It did not begin in a stadium with floodlights. We all grew up in India, where playgrounds are not always marked. Sometimes there will be empty spaces between coconut trees. Any Keralite can easily correlate with me. Sometimes half prepared fields after the harvest. Sometimes narrow lanes between the houses. And yet, every single space was a stadium. We didn't wait for any equipment. We made coconut bats out of coconut trunks. We folded leaves into bowls. And when monsoon came, we didn't go indoors. We stayed in the rain, we played in the rain. Because sport was never about facilities, it was instinct. If you remember the movie 1983, cricket was not just about runs, it was about pride. And football, even more democratic. When I watched the movie Sudani from Nigeria, it was talking not just about football, it was talking about universal brotherhood, it was talking about the community. And swimming, it was not just training, it was survival. Boat races were not televised spectacles, they were lessons in synchronization. Before corporate workshops, we had Vallankali and boat race clubs. Before sports science, we had monsoon conditioning. Sport was not extracurricular, it was lived. In Hollywood films, let's take the example of this movie Interstellar. You must be knowing this particular scene. When the whole world is collapsing and the families are under severe stress, what do they say? Let's go throw the ball, let's play a catch. But in India, when tension rises, what do we say? Study harder, focus on exams. Sports becomes the first thing getting sacrificed. Not because we don't love it, but because we don't trust it. We don't trust it as career, we don't trust it as stability, we don't trust it as a structured pathway. In India, we never lacked sporting emotion. We lacked a proper sporting architecture. Now, I'm an IAS officer, and when I eventually bought my first sports kit home, it was only after I had secured a job. Access came late. Think about that. Access came very late. Then I began to ask myself, why should structured opportunity in sport should arrive only after economic stability? Why should talent wait for permission? Why should passion depend on pay slips? And that question stayed with me. When I was posted as the director of sports in Government of Kerala, I saw two realities. First is availability of enormous talent, and second is the fragmented system. I'm also glad that I'm a part of the ongoing significant revolution that is happening, significant improvement that is happening in the sporting infrastructures of the state. But still, we lack in structured sporting pathway. Now I would like to take you to this particular realities. On the left side, you can see the cricket nets. This is Central Stadium, a historic sporting space in the capital city of the state. It was in dilapidated condition. It was able to cater only 3 to 4 athletes on a daily basis. Before the revamping, we revamped it. We installed two proper cricketing nets. Now it can cater more than 20 athletes on a daily basis. As you can see, the infrastructure may look physical, but it sends a psychological message. It tells a young athlete standing on the boundary that you belong here. Look at this. This is not a cricket net anymore. This is aspiration with structure. When a child enters a proper cricket net, like let's say proper sporting infrastructure, something changes internally. They stop playing randomly. They start believing seriously. Infrastructure is not concrete anymore. It is confidence. But infrastructure alone is not enough. We needed systems. In Kerala, school sports are really strong. Our school sports meets are organized with precision. Participation is high, talent is visible, energy is real, and media is celebrating. The school level, we do really well. But something happens after the student enters the college. The structure slowly weakens. They choose different career pathways. They move across districts. Academic pressure grows, and career uncertainty grows, and sport quietly disappears. Not because talent disappeared, but the continuity did disappear. The pipeline slowly breaks. Now compare that to the countries like the United States and Canada. Their university sports are not extracurricular. They are the institutional pillars. They are multi-billion-dollar ecosystems in those countries. These university leagues generate broadcasting revenue, sponsorship markets, merchandise industries, scholarship pipelines, and professional drafts. College sports in the US alone generate billions annually, not because they produce more talent, but because they ensured continuity. They built architecture that connects school to university to professional sports. In India, population is scale, and Kerala has sporting culture, but we never built university scale sporting economy around it. That is a gap we are correcting. That is where the role of college sports league comes. The college sports league. It was mooted as an idea in the International Sports Summit Kerala that happened in 2024. Later, it got its physical shape in 2025. On July 18, it was launched in University of Calicut. It was something different. It was not a tournament. It's a league, and league changes psychology. Tournaments are just events, and leagues are ecosystems. And the college sports league, as you can see, rests on three pillars. First one is governance. This initiatives operates under the structure chaired by Honorable Chief Minister of the state and bringing together sports and higher education department, because sport cannot function in isolation. It has to be integrated with education. When you look at the format, there will be home and away matches. Each colleges can compete with each other in home and away venues. These are not one-day elimination events. When colleges host and travel, they build rivalry, they build identity, and they build ownership. As you can see in the slide, no, you can't see anything, it's blank. So it was a scenario before the introduction of the college sports league. Now, we have created 24 new identities. When rivalry builds spectatorship, rivalry automatically builds spectatorship, spectatorship builds value, and value builds sustainability. A league structure, when a league structure exists, colleges behave very differently. They invest more in better grounds, training facilities, coaching ecosystem, infrastructure upgrades. Why? Because reputation now depends on performance. Sport stops being decorative. It becomes strategic. For students, the impact is even deeper. They'll grow with confidence. They'll be having leadership skills. They'll learn more networking. They'll be having more career pathways. And over and above, their physical well-being will be ensured. When institutions see structured return, they'll invest more. When the investment increases, the quality increases. When the quality rises, the talent gets the opportunity to scale up. This is architecture at work. And last, this is actually a student-centric reform. It will be, the entire league will be run by college sports council, run by students and supported by the faculties. And the students will be managing sponsorship, logistics, branding, media, and fan engagement. And they are not just the participant, they are the major stakeholders. We can say that like maybe a commerce student can plan the budget, a literature student can handle the content creation, they can handle the commentary, an engineering student can plan the operation. These are not compartmentalized, anybody can do anything. So this is not extracurricular activity anymore. This is structured leadership development we are planning to generate through this college sports league. Talking about campus sports economy, the government will be supporting the initial seasons, but the goal is to attain sustainability. How can we attain the sustainability? The revenue has to be generated through sponsorship, streaming, broadcasting, and merchandising. And students will benefit directly through scholarships, and they'll be having exposure, year-round visibility for the athletes, and they'll be getting practical experience. We are building a sporting economy inside the campus. And technology and data is a significant part of this particular league structure. And every athlete is supposed to have a digital performance profile. Performance should be tracked across seasons, across institutions. Why does that matter? Because in India, talent often comes with visibility. Now imagine a young girl who is coming from Wayanad without any connections. She performs consistently, her data is available. A scout sees the performance, he trusts the data, he does not need any recommendation. He makes the call, her life changes. That is meritocracy enabled by technology and data. Beyond athletes, this is not just about producing few players, it is about creating an ecosystem, retail, analytics, media, and whatnot. Entrepreneurship also. Students manage real budget before their graduation. They won't just look for jobs, they create the jobs. According to United Nations supported global research on sports for development, every $1 invested in sport can generate up to $125 in long-term social and economic return. 1 to 125. That return include better health outcomes, reduced crime, increased employability, higher productivity, strong community cohesion. Sport is not just recreation anymore. It is infrastructure for society. And if one becomes 125, then the real question is not can we afford to invest in sport? The real question is can we afford not to? Talent is not rare in India, but opportunity still is. Champions are not born in stadiums, they are born in systems. If we build architecture that is visible, scalable, and fair, then no students has to wait for permission to dream. The future of Indian sports will not be discovered, it will be designed. And we are designing it now. Thank you.